Hello YouTubers, good afternoon. This is Christopher Wansani, also known as Dr. Solar. Today we have in our technical studios, our office, an incredible solar enthusiast. He's been a client of ours since February of last year, and this man swears so much by solar that he's single-handedly responsible for about 30% of our customers this year alone. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Sotonye to our crowd, our YouTube friends, and we'll have him tell us his experience with solar. So Mr. Sotonye, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you in our office.
Nice to meet
We
you.
chop pasta, we drink cold water. Yeah, you know now. Okay, in fact, the water is still frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, today we are trying to do something different where you talk to people who are actually using solar, and he will tell you if it's a life-altering experience, if he has to make too many adjustments, or does he live a normal life. So Mr. Sotonye, you've been using the system since February of last year.
Yeah.
So how has the experience been?
It's been great. I've never regretted spending if I tease, I can spend my last couple making sure I have electricity that is renewable, which is solar. Since I started before February, like I told you, right, I've had an inverter or a converter, it's got batteries, and make sure that at least I have electricity for about 10-11 hours. And I realized that, hey, come on, I could go solar and make sure that I don't rely on the grid. And luckily for me, I met you guys, and the rest is history. Right now, where I live completely off the grid, no connections to the grid, and I've never regretted it. I hardly use my generators. I rely on the weather. If the weather is good, hey, fine. If it's not good, still fine. But the thing is that we need to be able to know how to manage electricity. That's what it teaches you. No matter how bad the weather is, you can always manage electricity. Before now, I could on everything at once when I was tied to the grid and didn't know the implication of what I was doing. But right now, I've taught my family, including my 9-year-old kid, that if you on a 10-watt bulb and you don't have to on it, switch it off.
So Mr. Sotonye currently has a 4 kilowatt inverter, 4 kilowatt in panels, and 410 ampere in batteries.
Yes.
So he has 8 Trojan L16s, and he has 16 panels?
Yes.
He has 16 250 watt panels.
4 kilowatts.
And Mr. Sotonye lives in a part of Ogun State, right on the border of Lagos, where there is no grid connection. So he's 100% dependent on having solar power. Now, there are limitations to solar, and Mr. Sotonye will tell you what the limitations are, then he'll tell you what the benefits are. So let's start with the benefits first. The other day, I told him to put his hot water heater on and try to do it using solar. Mr. Sotonye, can you tell us what the experience was like?
At first I was being skeptical because I relied on my solar panels to give me electricity. So I didn't want anything to affect me, especially at night. And I called you and I asked, hey, can I use my water heater, or do I still have to use my generator to power the water heater? I said, hey, go for it and see how it works. And I went for it, and it did well.
But you wouldn't do it again?
I won't do it again.
unless the sun is shining.
Unless the sun is shining.
But Mr. Sotonye, tell us about your toast every morning.
My toast, well, I can't eat my bread without toast. That's one. And every morning I use my toast and my machine to toast my bread. And it's had little or no impact on my batteries. I didn't know at first, but I had to ask Dr. Solar if I could do it. And Dr. Solar said, hey, go for it and see how it works. Ah yes, if the sun comes in the morning, it charges your battery. I said, Dr. Solar, I want to maintain a higher than 50% charge early in the morning. Say, hey, try it. And I tried it, and since then, 2 weeks back now, right? Thereabouts.
Yes.
I've been using my toast, and it's been great.
So he has to toast his bread. Now he's spoiled. If he doesn't toast his bread, the children will not eat bread.
Won't eat bread.
The other part of it is, while I was still in the US, he had called me and said, I love beans. It was beans, right?
Yes, it is.
And my wife makes it and puts it in the freezer, and it's spoiled. So he wasn't happy, neither was I. So I asked him, why do you think it spoils? He goes, well, we turned the freezer off. I asked him, why did you turn the freezer off? He goes, to conserve the batteries. And I told him, what did I tell you?
You said it's better for me to just only for 48 hours.
Straight.
After then, it doesn't consume as much energy that you will if it starts afresh. And I said, maybe, I'm not sure. I'll try. He said, try it. There's nothing wrong with it. And I tried it, and since now, I'm not off my freezers. So right now,
what happened to your beer?
They got the. I had 5 bottles of beer in my freezers, and by the time I woke up in the morning, they all popped up.
So the moral of the story is, don't put beer in your freezer.
Don't put beer in the freezer.
Okay, he's a 100% off-grid.
100%.
Okay, he has a generator, and periodically he has to use a generator.
Yes.
And this is why I try to explain to my clients. When we install you, a generator is necessary. And the reason why the generator is necessary is we're in the rainy season. And Mr. Sotonye, could you tell us what your average production kilowatt hours is on a day, on a good day?
On a good day, I get 12 to 14 kilowatt hours.
Okay. And now, what have you been averaging? And this week, what was your worst?
My worst was 2.9 kilowatt hours.
Okay, so 2.9 kilowatt hours is not enough to charge the batteries. So you experience that by the next day, your generator has to come and help you charge the batteries. So in the last 2 weeks, how many times have you used your generator?
About 3 times.
Okay, how many hours each time?
Average of 2.5, max 3.
First of all, he has a diesel generator, so he has to run it for longer than that. So we've been advising him that when he turns his diesel generator on, to put all the ACs on and then run the gen for at least 2 to 3 hours. Okay, you have to heat them up, or else they have carbon buildup, and it's not good for the generators. One thing I made him do during the dry season, earlier this year, right?
Yes.
Was he called me, Mr. Solar, I have 4 kilowatts in panels, but I'm only seeing 600 watts in production. So, what did I tell you to do? You forgot about the AC?
Oh yeah, yes. See, turn the AC on most times.
And what did you say?
I said never, I won't try it.
And then you and I kept arguing, right?
Yes.
And then what did I tell you to do?
Say try it, give it a chance.
And then when you put it on, what happened?
I had more power.
Your production went from 650 to
1,000 plus.
Okay.
1,000 plus.
What an MPPT charge controller does is it manages what you use. It wouldn't produce more than what you're using. So at that point, he was only using less than 600 watts. And the minute he put the AC on, it was an additional load, and the production went up to compensate for his use. Now, about an hour and a half later, you called me, and what did you ask me to do? He said, please, can I off it?
Can I off it?
I said, why? He goes, I want to have light tonight. So I said, go ahead, turn it off. I said, but you're going to do me a favor. This weekend, when you get home, you're going to put on how many?
2 ACs.
Okay, and when you went home that weekend, what did you do?
I did it. And from then on, I'm doing 2 ACs.
Whenever it's sunny and his batteries are already in float, he has all this energy he's not using, so he puts on his ACs to take advantage of his production. And on a day like that, he could easily see 15 kilowatt hours because he's using everything he's producing. So do you have any advice for our folks on YouTube about solar and why they should do it?
Just one advice. Don't even think about it. Just go for it. Go for it.
And when you do, make sure you use a professional who knows what they're doing, or else
you'll be in trouble.
Thank you. Thank you,
And that
Mr.
professional is Dr. Sola.
Me. Well, hopefully me. Thank you, Mr. Sotonye. It's always a pleasure having you, and it's always a pleasure talking to you.